they need another piece. And my issue is not with anybody on that floor but Kyle Lowry. Because they tend to play
Oh my God, this video got that off. Yeah.
as a number two.
Yeah.
They tend to play that offense into him as the number two guy, but he is not consistent enough to carry it. And they not gonna stop. That's just how their offense is built.
I agree. But I think the two best teams in the East lost last round. The two most complete teams in the East lost last round.
Philly and
Boston.
Boston
had a
Boston will be the most complete team in the East next year.
Boston imploded. They imploded because
no, you know why though?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think he's the only reason.
Okay.
You think Kyrie's the only reason?
The main reason. I think Kyrie and Hayward is the main reason now. Because they forced Gordon Hayward into that offense.
Okay,
they already had an offense.
Can we get on to the...
We are.
Okay, y'all just gonna... That's the
Yeah, this is what we starting right now. Because
introduction?
it's just good content right now. I just want to talk about... We ain't talked about sports in 4 weeks. Just hang tight, Millie. So, I think they forced Gordon Hayward, and they think they forced Kyrie.
Millie ain't feeling us because she dressed for Valentine's Day.
That's what it is. It's for
You know
Valentine's.
what?
That's what it is.
I think they forced them guys on the offense that was already championship worthy without him. That's what I think.
Okay.
So if they make those changes and let Scary Terry start and run the floor,
I'm gonna say this before we get into this for real. I don't think they forced anything. They was rolling before Kyrie got hurt. They was still leading the East, like you know what I'm saying. They was the number 2 team in the East, like so they was rolling. Then Kyrie got hurt, and then in the playoffs, the playoffs is a different kind of animal.
I agree.
So in the playoffs, they just grew up without Kyrie in the playoffs. I think if Kyrie was still healthy and leading that team into the playoffs, even without Gordon Hayward, it would have still been a different team.
I'm rolling.
And honestly, they would have beat the Cavs.
I'm rolling with that too. I
wouldn't be surprised if they beat the Cavs.
I'm rolling with that too. My issue is what you said at the tail end. Just because Kyrie was working and then before he got injured, the things that happened in the interim are more important than that. So you built a team that could get you to the ECF without him.
I agree. The same thing happened to LeBron in LA. LeBron and them was rolling. And then LeBron came back in. They couldn't get nothing done.
So that's what I'm saying. Sometimes I think.
So you saying get rid of LeBron?
I'm saying get rid of LeBron and Lakers from Lakers. Period.
I don't think he should have went. Anyway.
Yeah. Just
Millie with the phone. Millie got to go. Millie got some dough. What's up?
What kind of records are we writing over here?
I don't got some dough. Let's clarify that, okay?
What's up, Millie?
What's up?
Millie be lying. I don't got some dough.
I don't.
Anyway.
Millie pulled up in a truck that's bigger than everything in the lot. She's sitting on 24-inch rims.
Ew.
Ooh.
She got the floodlights at the top of the truck.
That's how you know.
Just so she can see the criminals.
That's how you know.
And the deer, because she's an off-roader at heart.
Floodlights that are deactivated, I can't use them.
Wow.
It's too much sauce for the regular streets.
Yeah.
It's too much drip.
I could get fined for that. So.
You got to cut them
but
off.
sure, why you
It's too much
deactivate them, though?
Well, the owner before me deactivate them. So.
Oh, they whack.
Oh,
they were off-road, and then they deactivated when they were selling it. So,
Man,
so how do you reactivate?
gotta go
I
back-
could just
go
go
to the
back and
dealer.
reactivate it. Yeah.
Go to
You got to the dealer to reactivate them?
Yeah, the dealer has to reactivate them.
That's super whack.
You just can't use them on city streets.
Yeah.
I literally saw somebody on Noble yesterday.
I did.
No, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Maybe a couple of days ago. He was sitting there and he had his off-road lights on.
Yeah. I see that. I see that truck all the time.
But you can't have them because cops can pull me over and really fine me for that. Because it's like, in a way, you're going to block everybody else's view, and it puts the other drivers at risk.
True.
So,
But that's the drip, though. That's just the cost of the drip.
I ride listen.
Like, sometimes you just got to just
I
deal
would
with it.
ride through
You know
the
what I'm saying?
hood and just pull up on dudes and hit them with the foot. Like, what y'all doing?
in the hood, you can get away with that. Not in Solon.
Fair enough.
Honestly, I don't know nothing about that life.
Fair enough.
My money ain't that long.
But I also
You see
feel
what
like
I'm
Solon
saying?
got more woods. You know what I'm saying?
True,
you can hide.
get off with that.
Man, listen. What episode is this?
This is episode 67.
Episode 67 of the Pint Size Podcast.
Year me.
What's up, people?
What's
like,
up?
we've been missing
We have
In action.
Houdini's.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
greatest magic trick of all time.
The greatest
We lit, though.
when we came back to the game.
Feel me?
The game was it's been missing us like it was missing number 23 Michael Jordan when he left to go play baseball.
Facts.
Yep.
Big facts.
Now we back wearing 45.
Wait, go play baseball.
It ain't to play games with you.
It's to take aim at you.
Interesting analogy.
You said, what'd you say, Millie?
I said that was an interesting analogy.
With the 45?
No, with Jordan and baseball, because that was a
That was a dark time.
That was a disaster in itself.
That was a disaster. Listen, that
was a journey that Jordan said, I'm going to be number one. I'm going to take it to baseball. Nope. Okay, I'm going to come back.
What was the name of that Triple A team? The Barons?
The Barons.
Yep.
So we talking about, later in this show, at some point in time, we're going to talk about some mental health things, right? And, a part of people don't think about it, but grieving is if you don't deal with grieving the right way, bruh, it's a part of mental health.
I know exactly where we're going.
You know what I'm saying? And, I would say that during that baseball time, Jordan was grieving.
Yeah.
He was grieving heavily.
I'm rolling.
And, he wanted to figure it out through baseball. I mean, real talk.
Okay.
Real talk, y'all.
Okay.
Have you guys ever been grieving in some kind of area? And grieving doesn't always has to stem from death per se.
True.
Could have been from a breakup or whatever. But have you been in a situation before where you've made a decision trying to reconnect with the thing that you disconnected from in an emotional response?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah. I can't talk about it because the files are sealed, but yeah.
The files. I heard enough. That statement was louder than Shaq's suit. Dang. What about you, Millie?
Yeah, that part of the chapter is close in my life, so.
Files are sealed, man.
Files are sealed.
Gotta do it
well, I guess as everybody else is doing, I'm going to plead the field.
Yeah, it's just smart right now. It's just smart to do. Oh, man, it's been so long. I'm out of practice. It's me. Excuse my bronchitis. FC on the beat, a.k.a. Fourth Quarter Freddy, a.k.a. Freddie Franchise, a.k.a. the best you ever heard. You're just afraid to admit it, a.k.a. Mr. I Have a Dream. So get your hands on my pocket, a.k.a. Speedy Traxton, a.k.a. Bomb Stockton, a.k.a. Kareem Abdul Bazaar, a.k.a. Wavy Crockett, a.k.a. F the F this guy, a.k.a. Young Hulu, a.k.a. Hot Take Jake, a.k.a. Mr. Always Stay Focused, a.k.a. Mr. Always Locked and Loaded, a.k.a. Mr. All Bags Matter. Shaq's suit hat is black and it has white roses on it.
Lately, Shaq has been pulling a Craig Sager, but not crazy.
Yeah, but just put a little sauce on.
Yeah, he's really been on it. But the problem is when you're as big as Shaq, when you put on stuff like that, you start looking like bathroom curtains.
Yeah, because he's a big guy.
Because he's so big.
That jacket is like a bed sheet, and it's a good jacket. It's a good situation for a smaller guy.
It's just on him. It's like if I would put him in Botanical Gardens, he probably would fit right in.
Right, yeah. Wow.
Because he's that big that it's like, wrong. Okay, now you're looking like a rose bed yourself.
Yeah, she's not wrong.
Millie with the fro.
She's not wrong.
Millie, this is Millie with the go right here. This is what this is. Millie, welcome.
Hi.
I'm Blue. It's just so good to be back. You know what I mean? So good to be back. I'm excited much.
Excited much.
I'm excited much.
So much expression on the face.
I'm excited much, man. It's beautiful.
I'm excited much.
So, there was a lot going on in the world right now.
Yeah.
You know, one of the big things that they're talking about in the sports world is the new draft lottery.
Yes.
No, okay. I don't understand how it works exactly. Like it was it's like a lot of science behind it.
So how
it's a lot of math.
So how so with the NFL draft, usually the teams can select the players. You know, they have the standpoint, they have the presentation. Mm-hmm. When it comes to the NBA draft, I'm trying to think how to explain it. So it's kind of like exactly what it's like a lottery. So you know how you watch the lottery and they have the balls going around?
No, not that. No, I know how it worked. Let me clarify. I know how it worked before.
Yeah.
Yeah, how it works now, according to what I watched yesterday, is different.
I mean, from what I've seen, it kind of works the same way, I guess.
The difference is whatever they did, whatever little Jimmy and they did, you know, under the hood with the math, makes it so that the top three teams, they used to have like, what was it, 16 or 18% chance of getting the first. Now it's like 14.
Now it was bigger than that. It was like 24.
Okay.
So like the lowest team would have like a 24% chance. Mm-hmm. So they had the most balls in.
Okay.
This is one team that had 24% out of however many. You know what I mean?
The 32.
And then everybody else will have significantly lower chances based on
their win records and stuff.
Yeah.
But the Knicks, the Cavs, and the Suns all have 14% chances.
Right.
Yeah.
And then when I'm watching the lottery, you know, then I'm saying the Grizzlies jump up in the top 4, and I'm just like, what's the math on this? And then they not telling us how it happened. So I was just watching the picks, like,
it was kind of confusing because who I expected to go where was completely changed that night.
It's a wrap.
So who I thought was going to get Zion was like, whoa, like what just happened? This is not what we normally see. This is not what we normally predict, because everybody predicted that, okay, Cavs, they're doing terrible, but they're going to sit here and they're participating on this draft. This is why they're doing this. They're going to pick up what exactly they need. And now it's like, this is so opposite to going against any team's strategy for trying to come up in the league. And it's really now testing, like, okay, now considering this trade, are we about to see now some trades going on to try to save their asses? Or, and if not, then these teams that sat here and kind of ruined their own reputation, now they got to sit here and lay in the bed that they made in.
Well, if we're talking about the Knicks here, the Knicks' reputation has been ruined for almost a decade now. So, like, they're all right.
They're in their own.
What I do like about it, though, is, and from what, I didn't do no reading on it because I was just and I'll get to why I was kind of wild, watching the picks. But what I do like about how they set it up is the tanking is not a good strategy for building a team anymore.
Yeah.
Which is great. I actually like that. So I believe it'll make a more competitive season going forward for all teams, whether your roster is full of superstars or full of young guys. I think you got to play, and I think we always want to see that. I think that's dope. Another thing I didn't really like about what happened last night is the fact that I was reminded once again about what high level of disarray the Cavaliers front office is actually in.
Oh my goodness!
To allow a basketball savant, a man who has a vision for franchises that we haven't seen in maybe 15 to 20 years, slip through their fingers and end up in New Orleans with the number 1 pick in the draft. I felt like it was personal. I felt like ESPN and, everybody sitting there, I felt like they kept showing David Griffin just to make me mad. And I really don't understand why they would do that, number 1. Number 2, David Griffin, if you listening to this by some chance, thank you for what you did for us and for bringing us a championship with your great basketball. I hope you experience continued success.
Wow.
But seeing you in front of a Pelicans logo, it really triggers some things that I didn't know about myself.
Well.
Right?
Well.
I'm upset about it, But speaking of the Pelicans, they are in one of the best positions in basketball right now. Because they actually now have the power to be successful regardless of what AD does. And not many people can say they can lose a superstar and still build a winning team. But they can.
That's true.
That's true.
And shout out to David Griffin, because I feel like he about to build a franchise down there that's going to be highly competitive. Yeah. And I'm interested to see it.
I'm interested.
That's all I have to say about that.
And that's something that's like, for that city, it's long overdue. They need something down there.
Yeah, but New Orleans is... Shout out to New Orleans, but I don't think New Orleans will ever be a marquee market. That's why I wanted Zion to go to New York. Because I want to see him under the big lights. I just kind of did. The hype matched him there.
Yeah, it definitely wouldn't. It definitely wouldn't. But, I mean, it is what it is. Screw that dang old lottery, man. Only because it didn't go our way.
Sure did. Because we were supposed to be a top 4.
Man, we're supposed to be top 3, man. Like,
if we're being honest,
come on, man. That's some bullcrap.
Because the tank was in. The tank was in.
I think our team was so bad we didn't even have to try the tank.
You're right.
I'm just saying, I'm gonna sip my little tea.
Well, I mean, even, like next year we get the Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. We lit.
Oh, I wish we could just like insert crickets. Why we don't got sounds? We need sounds, bro. Because just to think about that name, not what you said.
No, I understand.
In and of itself,
bruh. The Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse.
At least it's gonna be nice.
Who's going to go? Are you going?
I mean, you're gonna go for something. You just don't want to say where you're going to.
That's true.
I'll go for the food. They have B spot there. And they got good milkshakes.
Hey, listen. You know we got the plug. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we got the plug.
We got the plug.
So,
What kind of secret society?
we got the plug. So
we
we'll
got,
go.
We got the plug.
This time we'll be smart about staying and actually going up to where we should have
I would have
went.
to agree with you 100%.
Yeah, and then we'll really enjoy the game. So
I agree with you 100%. Don't worry about this.
Yeah.
Don't worry about this.
I'm quiet.
This is what we got going
It's
on
fine.
over here.
It's fine. I know
You know what I'm saying?
It's fine. Totally fine.
Yeah, but so screw the lottery, screw the draft, screw all of that. You know what I mean? We got some crazy things that are going on. I really need to get your guys' take on these things. The last few episodes, we kind of touched down on like the new Generation Z. We talked about Generation X. We talked about all of these things, right?
Yep.
But what we have not talked about is how the different generations relate to social media.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And something has really, really, really caught my attention. So, riding down the street, listening to the radio, and I hear about this guy, right? Some people may follow him. He has about maybe like 500,000 followers on Instagram.
Okay.
Right? So he's an Instagram influencer or social media influencer. He makes his living off of social media, of course. Selling products, advertising products, so on and so forth. Oh, excuse me. And the guy's name on IG is Jador Retugizi or something like that.
That name is trash.
Jador Retugizi, something like that.
My name is Garbage Truck Juice. Anyway,
JADORETUGGZIEE.
I didn't even catch half of that.
I like doing that. JADORETUGGZIEE. Jador Tugsy. I don't know.
We're still struggling with this.
Because,
it's a dude.
Man,
this is a dude.
This guy's name is interesting to me. So, they did a report on this guy on MSNBC London, right? And this dude Jador. Woo! This dude Jador. Yep, that's him. That's him. Mr. UK himself. They did a report on him, and it was not just a report on him, but it was a report that was kind of showing the post of.
We know we're gonna talk about the eyebrows, but okay.
No, we gonna talk about the eyebrows
because Jador, man. We gonna talk about the eyebrows,
Wish
baby.
y'all can see these snaps that this lady's doing.
Okay, this is my field. We can talk about them eyebrows.
Them eyebrows, real.
Let's talk about your whole makeup face.
Ahead,
like
man.
we need to talk,
Let me see
babe.
what's going on
Like,
Go ahead, man. Check them eyebrows out.
let me.
So, the homie is a social media influencer, like I said, influencer. And the report on him, he was talking about how he is intentional. Oh, my goodness. Is intentional about looking like his social media posts in real life.
Okay.
In real life.
Yes, I heard about this.
So, he's had some plastic surgery done.
Yes.
Because he wants to walk around, in his own words, close quote, I want to always be Instagram ready.
This is like some people who have, if nobody has been paying attention to some news on social Snapchat, there are people actually going out and getting Snapchat surgeries. So they're getting a Snapchat filter.
Yes, they are.
Going to the medical doctor and saying, I want to look like this, how this filter is, and they'll get surgery like how they look in the filter.
Yes.
Okay, I see what's going on here, bro. Go ahead.
So this guy has had some work done to look more and more like his Snapchat filter. He walked into the surgeon and said, okay, this is our plan. This is what we want to get to. I want to always be ready for a shoot.
Okay.
He inspired that surgeon.
I'm
sorry.
It's not a great look. I mean, but all right. Let's get down to
I'm
the
sorry.
facts.
I'm just being nitpicky. I'm just like.
It kind of is what it is. Like people love that look. They do. They love that look. Not just him. You see, I see females do it all the time. You know what I'm saying? Not just regulating this to females because I know males do the same thing. Mm-hmm. Of course, we have an example right here. But my man was like, yo, I'm going to get work done to look like my filter. That's how I want to look in real life. When people walk up to me, when my followers see me, when my fans see me, I want them to see what they see on social media. They also went on to ask him some more questions like, yo, how long does it take you to edit a picture before you post it? He was like, well, it usually takes me an hour. Well, minimum to edit a picture. Not a video.
A picture.
A picture, just to make sure that it's right.
And this gentleman, this person is a, let me see. Oh, okay, it's a UK influencer / makeup artist. Okay,
and that's what makes that. See, this is where it gets dangerous.
Here we go.
Because influencer is just that you're influencing somebody.
Yeah.
So there are kids nowadays, because I don't care what Instagram says. I don't care how old they say you have to be. They don't check that. There are kids who are 12, 10 years old. On
Absolutely.
And
scrolling across everything.
Because I block all of them. They try to follow me. I block them. So, but they look up to these influencers, these makeup artists who sit here and when they hear their idol, this person they looking up to, saying like, oh, well, I'm going to alter myself to sit here and fit this image, whether it's their personal thing or to what they want. You don't think at that point that this is the kind of message you're sending now to this child, that they got to alter their image. They got to sit here, do plastic surgery, and literally not be themselves and not learn to just love themselves and love their features, to just be accepting in the world. And that's where you find a lot of teens develop a lot of self-image issues. This is where you get a lot of anorexia. This is where you get a lot of self-esteem, suicidal thoughts, and depression, because these influencers, some of them are not teaching kids to just love themselves for what they are. If you want to go do surgery, that's fine, but make a disclaimer like, look, I don't want you to do this. This is my own personal thing.
Right.
Like, I know they can't control what other kids do, but understand how big your voice is and who is listening and following everything you do. Because that's what makes, in the end, that's going to make or break this kid's confidence as they're growing up. And you don't even realize it. It doesn't care if you don't meet them. Understand what message you're putting out.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you're going to be so hung-ho about being an influencer, influence the right things. Don't influencing a bad image.
So to kind of piggyback off you, because I agree with everything you're saying, how do we, teach our children, our younger cousins, our younger siblings, to enjoy themselves or who they are, and like have self-love, and you know what I'm saying, to all of these, like how do we encourage that when everyone that they look up to is fully immersed in that culture? Like, so how do we compete against the culture of the world? You know what I'm saying? Because it's not just like social media influencers. We know how big music is. Music is the same way. Like, in music, you're waiting till everything is perfection before you even like put it out there. You're sending that message out there. So like, how is it? You know what I'm saying, that we're not just preaching self-love, but we get people to like love themselves? Because I feel like it's not happening.
Yeah. I mean, and it's kind of a slippery slope. I mean, Instagram has recently tried to step in and have a hand in it. If nobody knows, they actually are going to be getting rid of likes on Instagram. They just started it in Canada. So pretty much this means we just won't see any likes on our pictures. So someone will like a picture, we just won't see the X amount of numbers to it.
They won't. So, we will.
Yeah. So
yeah, they won't. Yeah,
they won't. So it's like
that shit gonna change though.
It's gonna change.
People gonna get so pissed.
I mean, the thing what's bad about it, how they're approaching it, because so many people nowadays, they use Instagram for business. So someone could sit here and I think what they should do is that if you have a personal page, whether you are the person or not, you shouldn't see your likes, period. And the only time you should see your likes is if it's for business purposes. That's it. Because at that point, personal reasons, it really can destroy a kid. There is this documentary on Netflix that actually follows 3 individuals.
Yep.
And this one,
I don't think I've seen that one.
You didn't see that one?
Which
with
one you
the
talking?
2
What's the
girls
name
and the
of it?
one guy?
No, that's the one it's queued up.
So there's this documentary on Netflix. I think everybody should check it out. So it follows 3 teens who are affected by social media in 3 different ways. So one girl, she's this pageant girl, but she got her Instagram popularity from a dance photo she did when she was younger, and it just blew up. Another one is a Brooklyn photographer who did really good photography, and then he blew up off his photography and ended up getting him a lot of paid gigs. The last one is about this girl that's actually right in Ohio. She's in this little town in Ohio, and she was very, very critical of how she posts things, and she would sit here and say, you know what? She would have these rules. So, and I didn't even know there were rules. But it showed how much she cared about Instagram. So she said, can't post 2 pictures in one day. You just can't do it. Cannot do that. You got to make sure the selfie's at the right angle. You got to edit it in some type of way. Make sure it's flattering. If you sit here and even went down to like dating, if you sit here and go on someone's page and you like them, you spam their pictures. Like you just spam it. Like. And like, go back and forth, and then you eventually DM each other. And
hold on, what if you like someone, spam their shit, and then
like they're literally and throughout this documentary they were interviewing
time out. Side note,
they literally
shout out to you ladies. But shout out to you ladies who've been spamming
these
me.
teens were literally breaking down rules of social media.
Like, I just kind of thought it was just you just liking
there
my
it is.
pics.
The social animals. Yes,
that's the name of it.
Yes, so
I might have to watch this tonight. How many? It's one thing.
It's just an hour, hour and a half.
So with this video, so the other 2 teens are fine. They're not really affected by it. The girl who's a pageant queen, she does face a stalker issue because of how many followers she has. This person comes obsessed with her and the typical stuff. The Ohio teen,
the typical stuff.
So the Ohio teen, she sits here and she goes about her Instagram, blah blah blah. So she sits here and she gets involved with this guy. And unfortunately, this is where sexting can take a really bad turn. Someone posted stuff on pictures. She got bullied. It was really bad. She privated her Instagram. People are still trying to find her. And she ended up attempting suicide. So
she committed suicide?
She attempted. She's still alive. So, it showed the reality of so here's this one teen where social media became a toxic thing where it almost ended her life. And this is why, okay. And then the other side, it didn't affect the teen.
So don't go all the way in. Don't go all the way in. Because this is where I feel like it's not social media that's doing that to people.
No, it's not. I guess to me, it's just the way I saw it, it was just because of this platform that's easily now spreadable. You know, yes, we had MySpace and back then and everything, but with Instagram, it's just it spreads much faster.
Of course, everything is always taken up a notch. Nothing spreads faster than Facebook. Factually,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It just it's a different type of platform. It became a different type of platform. So interpretation. There's more self-interpretation on Instagram than there is on Facebook.
Yeah.
Usually when people post something on Facebook, you know what I'm saying, it's descriptive. And sometimes people don't even post pictures on Facebook. They can read somebody's video or they can type a paragraph and say how they're feeling. So it's not so much left for the imagination. With Instagram, it's boom. What do you think? You know what I'm saying? And then it's left to that. The mental health component is the part that I think that does bother me. You know what I'm saying? Because, of course, like you're saying, these things do spawn and then stem into other things.
Yeah.
People are taking likes. People are taking opinions of other people as validation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Their own opinions of themselves don't even matter. If they even have an opinion of themselves. Some people's opinions are just wrapped up in what other people think of themselves.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, and especially with our kids and you know what I'm saying, stuff like that, if you get caught up in that, then you'll be swayed by everything at any given moment. Yeah. My daughter told me this the other day. We had a personal moment and her mom called me and we started like really having a real conversation with my daughter, and I was like, dang, I shower my daughter with love. So it kind of made me take a look for a second, like, whoa, this culture is crazy. She was like, Daddy, I feel as though the girls in my school, a couple of girls in my school told me I'm ugly because I don't have long hair like they do. But my daughter feels like she looks better than those girls.
Yeah.
But they took like this one thing, and I explained that to her. We talked about this extensively. I explained to her. I said, Zoe, they don't have anything on you, so like, yeah, they're gonna take that one thing and try to like whatever. I said, but you have a decent amount of hair. Like,
yeah.
First of all, cultures and hair grows different in different cultures. You know what I'm saying? So I'd explain that to her and whatever else. But I'm saying all that to say this: the opinions, no matter how small, can affect you deeply.
Yes.
So imagine on a grand scale when you have 1 million followers.
Yeah.
And let's say 500 people just say, you know what? No, this is not the move.
Right.
And all this validation that we were giving you on a daily basis, we just stopped giving that to you.
Giving it. Yeah,
you're living for likes.
See,
literally.
This is where I don't know. This is where it gets interesting for me. Because, see, you know, I come from a time where we used to go outside.
Right. Okay. Same,
No, it's a thing to this.
No, yeah, same.
I used to go outside, right? And, you know, I'm not ashamed to say it now at 35 years old. I wasn't the man outside. I wasn't the dude in the neighborhood. I wasn't that guy. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't the cool dude. And it's all good. It's always one of them in the hood, right? Okay, cool. But what that taught me is
you had friends, though.
Huh?
But you had friends, though.
True.
All right.
And I still keep in contact with all of them to this day in some form or another, right? So, like, having interactions with real human beings has made me look at social media in a particular way. Now, this is all of that to say this. This may sound harsh. You know, it may sound off topic, but the motherfuckers just know what I'm about to say.
Oh, shoot.
They gonna get this. They gonna get this. All right, y'all ready? This is a symptom, right? We're looking at the symptoms. Follow me. Mm-hmm. We're looking at the symptoms of a group of people. I would even say maybe, I could be off, but maybe a generation of people.
Okay.
Right? Who have never been punched in the face.
Yes.
You've never been punched
I
in
agree.
the face.
It's in a physically or emotionally.
Yeah. If you've never had, like, it's something about being punched in the face. And I use that term for a reason. If you ever been punched in the face, you know what that does to you after the first time you've been punched in the face. Let me explain the story. I was in 6th grade. I decided that I've always had a big mouth. I've always been good with words. And the people who couldn't do that when I was a kid didn't like me for that.
I get that.
You know, that's just how that go.
Yeah.
If you good with words and you outwitting somebody in the lunchroom, it's time to throw the hands. Now, me never throwing hands before said, I'm gonna throw hands with you, no problem. We at the yard right next door to the school. Miss Granny ain't gonna be home. That's what we used to call her because she was real old. She would be on the porch all the time. Miss Granny ain't gonna be home. We out there. Let's go. We get out there, and what happens to me? While I'm talking, I get punched in the face. In the face.
Yeah.
Now, is that 35,000 people seeing me get punched in the face? No. But it's 25 of the most popular people that went to my middle school. And I got punched in the face. You know what that taught me? I'm going to be all right. It's fine.
Yeah.
Right. You're going to be embarrassed for a little bit.
Govern yourself accordingly.
You have to ice your face for a little bit.
Yeah, like, all right, I went home. I was lumped up. You know, I had a little blood here. I think he cut the nose right here. You know what I'm saying? But guess what happened the next day? I went back to school.
Couple jokes for a little bit.
The jokes was abundant.
Then it passes.
Then you threw, because Timmy threw up in the lunchroom 2 days later. We good.
They on to the next thing.
We back.
What's hot now?
We back.
Yeah.
Yep.
Listen, man. if
you learn how to deal, and
you learn how to deal.
Real talk, I feel you.
Like that's how I feel. Like the people I see panicking. Oh, and I'm not saying this is not a real issue because apparently this is a real issue. But I think the deeper problem is we forced acceptance and communication into intangible forms.
Yeah.
So once you take the human experience out of life, you get this.
So what's happening is one of the leading surgeons in the UK is saying that he is getting the patients that he's getting. There has been a resurgence in the plastic surgery industry. Now, plastic surgery has never taken a loss. Ever.
No.
It was always, but it wasn't affordable. You know what I'm saying? It was like the rich would say, let's go get plastic. You know what I'm saying? So you would be charging this much money for a service.
There was a low demand.
Absolutely.
High skill set, so you charge a lot of money.
Right? Yeah. Now, it's different because the people that are coming to him are younger than they've ever been.
Yeah.
And he's saying, like, even though his job is to make money and he's always willing to make money, it kind of hurts his heart to see when a beautiful girl walks in and she wants to fix something that doesn't need to be fixed. He was like, I fix things per se for a living, right? And I'm watching a young girl who's 22 years old saying, hey, fix this on me. And I'm like,
it's not broken.
It's nothing broken, but I have to do it because you want me to. And he said this. He said they're coming in with their cell phone saying, make me look like this filter.
Yeah.
Make me look like this picture because I got the most likes for this.
See, and that's
wild shit, man.
What?
But see, this is now. This is my question, right? So you make this drastic life change, to become this person that you want to see. Okay, cool. I don't agree with that, but like a lot of things I don't agree with, you got the right to do whatever you want. Cool,
absolutely,
do your thing.
Right.
My next question is: so what happens when this is not the thing anymore?
That is a legit question. Because what's going to happen when it's on to the next thing?
It's on to
or what happens when you get old? What's your contingency plan?
See,
because you don't look young forever, no matter how hard you try.
And it's another thing that's wrapped up into this, just an educational piece. I forgot my man's last name, and I don't want to say where he works, but my man Danny told me years ago, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, we were working on marketing for a label that I got a lot of stuff about this. A label I was working for in the city that was independently ran but nationally distributed. Okay. And he was telling me, because I was the president of that label at the time, and he was telling me that, listen, the worst thing that you can do is wrap up an audience into one platform. If you can't take them off the platform, you really don't have an audience. And I thought about that, and I understood it immediately. I didn't know how to activate it until years later, but I understood it immediately. And I'm saying that to say this. We all run businesses. We are all entrepreneurs. This is the piece that hopefully the logic will set in when you hear this part. Because maybe everything else about ruining your fucking face for an app that you don't own, making content for other people to distribute and pull data from, maybe that doesn't make sense to you.
That's a whole other thing, though.
Maybe that doesn't make sense to you.
What if they cancel your thing? You know what I'm saying? What if they just say, you know what, we don't like the picture that you put on, and we going to deactivate your account?
We know DJ Mill. DJ Mill just got his Twitter deactivated because he posted a recap video with music that was licensed unbeknownst to him. His Twitter account is now suspended.
Hold on. What?
He posted a recap video of an event. And it was, he's DJ. So whatever, the hot record was, he was playing.
Got you.
And the music was licensed. So Twitter said, oh, you're using, it's a copyright infringement claim against your account. We have to suspend it. Now he's gone. Yeah. So to your point, in the drop of a dime, these things can happen to you. Right. So
what are you outside of that?
And that's my point. Exactly. Let's say, you don't have a problem with screwing up your natural beauty to fit into this antiquated beauty that you want. Let's say you don't have a problem with that. If you're an Instagram influencer, that means your Twitter ain't popping. It means a lot of things. It means 9 times out of 10, whatever you're drawing people to, you have to keep them there in order to mobilize them. Yeah. So that means that if the service that you don't own and the content that you forfeit and the data that you really don't see, listen to what I just said. If all of those things go away, how are you going to sustain yourself after this life-altering stuff that you're doing to yourself?
Yeah.
What happens then? Instagram is temporary. Twitter is temporary. Twitter that's my favorite. It's been here since 2006. It's rocking hard. It's looking good, but it's still temporary. All of these trends are temporary. MySpace does not exist. It's there, but it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Right.
And we started a company on MySpace.
Right.
And that's the education to that. I mean, a lot of these people that they look up to, Lele Pons, she came from Vine. Vine died in less than a year.
Doesn't exist.
So these
super quick.
Super quick. So and King Batch, that's where he came from. So
he came back.
He had to. These people
revamped.
came from a time where that
TikTok.
was that quick. It was gone.
So
They had to think really fast. How am I going to stay relevant?
Right.
So unfortunately to them, that's that business side that a lot of these kids don't see, is that the reason why these influencers will last past this app is because they learned the game the hard way of I gotta be somebody off of this too. So that's why you see Lele hosting award shows. She has been in magazines.
Yeah.
She has King Bash. He's on Wild and Out because he's like,
you got to be able to transcend that.
This is not gonna last forever because we just came from a platform that was dead like that. So how you sit here and you do all this stuff, but what's gonna happen when it goes away?
Yeah, but okay.
But
now
when
we're speaking
Instagram
to
shut down, everybody went into a frenzy.
So look, though, we're speaking to the influencers, though. So how do we speak to the people who are being influenced, though?
So you know
what I'm saying? Influencers may be a lost cause, but are people who listen. What's up?
3 words. This isn't real.
It's not.
I hear you.
No. But I understand that's not going to be received.
Yeah, so I
totally get that.
And that's what I'm talking about, though. You know what I'm saying? I'm only asking that because we got a generation who's being influenced by the very things that we're saying is not real. And you got to think, too. Just like when we were younger and older people said something to us, they'd be like, they don't understand. You out of touch or you whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
These kids, we didn't kill ourselves the way that these kids were killing themselves.
No way.
They're murking themselves because they get 100 people saying something online.
I have an answer. It's not an easy one, but go ahead.
I guess I'm closer to their age.
Yes.
So I will say this, because I thought the same way too.
Which part?
Understand. I guess my advice is understand.
No, you said you thought the same way. Please explain.
It's as far as when someone told me who was older.
Oh, okay.
Years, I hear you. Yeah.
Okay.
But as someone who's closer to age and my generation is still very affected by this, we still part of this. We're always going to be a part of this. All I ask and just advice is just understand who you are as a person. That's it. That's all I can say. Just understand who you are before you go follow this person. Understand who you are before you go do this trend. Understand who you are when you go do this challenge. Just understand what type of person you are and your life and your beauty and all this stuff. That's all I can ask, I think, at this point that you can give advice to them. It's just know who you are as an individual. And that's the most you can do, because at the end of the day, we can't prevent who they follow. We can't prevent who they decide to look up to and their role model and stuff like that. All we can encourage is that, okay, well then whoever you look up to, all I ask is just really pay attention to what they're saying. What message are you perceiving from that? What are they giving out? Just understand your following. Mm-hmm. Understand who you are allowing on your timeline, what image you're going to sit here and your kids could possibly see. Mm-hmm. And just understand that message.
What I say is this. Right. I'm saying that a lot of the responsibility is on those who know. Mm-hmm. Right, because you brought up a good point that had me sitting here thinking. When we were younger, a lot of the rifts that we had with the generation above us were they were kind of legitimate. Like, they didn't understand, and they kind of didn't see what was happening. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, maybe I'm jaded, but a lot of times we were wrong, but in some of the instances we were 100% correct. I could think about video games. Mm-hmm. Video games was one instance that was kind of like, especially in a black household, get off the game. Go outside.
Get off the game.
Get off the game. You're on the game all the time. Now that's a multi-million-dollar industry.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? So I understand there is gray areas to this idea, but
facts, my brother.
Totally in totality, we have to take a little bit more ownership in making sure that we are the voice that is louder.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I can say. You know, and whatever that, you know, however you guys want to translate that, I think that's up to you in the individual situations. But the real voice should always be louder than the scream, man. Always.
I mean, shit, that takes some effort. You know what I'm saying? And being intentional.
Hard work.
Being intentional.
Grind, yep.
Being intentional. Yeah, I agree. So hopefully, you know, if you need some sort of help in your mental space, please, guys, you're never too weak and or too strong to see somebody to talk to. You know what I mean? A lot of times we don't have anybody to talk to, or we do have people to talk to. We don't always feel comfortable sharing everything with people. You know what I'm saying? Or we're worried about like how we're perceived or judged. It's okay. Everybody has certain insecurities around something, you know what I'm saying, or certain worries around something. But if you just need some help, you know what I mean, reach out, talk to a counselor. There are plenty of avenues, man. It's just share your heart and get some stuff out because we don't like the outcome of some of the things that's going on lately.
So, and also lastly, before we move on to the next story,
yeah.
So, just some quick education, ladies. Your body develops until you're 21. So, you have until 21 until your body fully comes in, and that means everything. Men, I think it's until 25 until you have your body fully developed. So, before you...
I don't think it's that old. But anyway, go ahead.
Well, that's like what 23. I said, I think.
You
is
did
it
say
23
that.
or 25?
I'm sorry, shouted. Like 23.
23?
23
for guys?
Yeah.
Okay. So, you have until your early 20s until your body develops. So, please stay away from the surgeries, any thought of that. Don't be like this influencer, like, because you don't know. Your body might sculpt into that naturally. You don't know.
Word to your mother.
Just let yourself flourish and blossom. Drink a lot of water. Hydrate.
Drink a lot of water.
Exfoliate. Glow. Be happy.
Eat it.
And you will see results. Trust me. Okay.
We love you.
We love you.
Exfoliate.
We love you and
bloom,
everything
bloom,
of you.
Bloom, bloom.
Okay, on to the next story.
I was really looking into what was I looking into? That thing. So
thing that's making me not like Alabama right now.
Man, listen, so that abortion law is sparking the U.S. on fire. It's just Alabama is having its own issues right now, but like overall, they're trying to change stuff slowly but surely in all states.
Yeah.
First of all, I'm not trying to offend anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm also not trying to defend anybody either. So like, It is what it is. Like, and it's gonna be what it's gonna be. But as of right now, if you're not familiar, the old Roe versus Wade verdict, which happened in maybe 1972 or 3, that made abortion legal in all states. It made a choice. Is pretty much under fire. Heavy
fire.
Heavy fire.
It's not even heavy fire. I think it's like at this point there's maybe a little bit of ash left.
Damn.
Like it's that bad.
So what's going on right now is there have been bills written that are outlawing abortion after 6 weeks. After 6 weeks. And let's be honest here, most women don't even know if they're pregnant.
Yep. In 2 weeks.
Yeah. But Alabama in particular is going super aggressive.
Yep.
Alabama has gone on to, they didn't pass it yet, right? It has to be signed by the governor.
Yep.
To be finally approved. But they voted on the law and it's going up to the governor. But the law pretty much states that abortions are illegal. You can have your own opinions on that. It's fine. But I think the part that I think bothers everyone is the heavy stipulations that are coming with it, right? So one is that you can have an abortion. You can't have an abortion no matter what the circumstance is. So a few years back, there was a 12-year-old girl who was raped. I don't know if it was by her uncle or it was by
some incest. It was incest.
It was incest. It was by her uncle or something like that, and she got pregnant. And they wouldn't let the family decide to get an abortion. So my goodness, first of all, I can only imagine.
That is. Kids keep going. Because we'll sit there too long. Because
already that sentence was just
the psychological ramifications of that, the emotional, financial. That's crazy.
Yep.
The misplaced hatred. Anyway, like you're saying. But yeah, they ruled that the girl couldn't have an abortion, even though it was a heinous act. And in this law, this bill that they proposed, that was also one of the stipulations. So no matter if it was incest, no matter if it was rape, that you can't get rid of a child no matter what. Well, you can't have an abortion.
I think you can if the mother's life is, in fact, will be in danger if she delivers it.
Okay.
That's okay. If it's a life-threatening pregnancy, they let, go ahead, do your thing.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that makes sense. What was the other part? The other part was the stipulations that they put on the doctors.
Yeah.
Yes.
Life in prison.
Man, what? Yep. They said 99 years, which is life, in prison for an abortion, and 10-year minimum for an attempted abortion. First of all, what is the hell?
I don't even know what that means.
Because the way how they would charge it, they would first, if they went through with the abortion, everything went through, it would be considered murder. And then if they don't, it would be attempted murder. That's how they're doing it. And that's how they would rule it out, because at that point, that's why it's called the heartbeat bill. And they think that at that point, it's a heartbeat, it's a life. You killed somebody, you killed a life.
And guess what? That bill was written in Ohio.
Was it?
Yep.
Yes.
Don't surprise me one bit. Man, Ohio ain't innocent.
I'll be wilding, cuz.
Yeah.
But I don't.
I already voiced my opinion already on Instagram.
I just don't. I'll say this, right? I don't care how you feel about it. This ain't you. This is me talking.
Right.
This is what I say. I say that it ultimately comes down to the woman's choice. It should always be that way. I think they got it right in the 70s. You know what I mean? I think that the right to choose what you do with your own faculties, in good sense, in solid state of mind, all of those things. The right to choose is paramount to anything else, I believe. I just believe that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So once you take one of those vital human rights away in the name of whatever it is, religion or because I think personally, I think that's what's fueling this is the religious idea. I think that's what's fueling it. I could be wrong, and even if I am, that's still going to be what I think.
No, I think
but
it's wrong to think that. But yeah, because right now it's happening in one of the most religious.
Yeah, it's all in the belt. Like
it's
all of these bills are being passed in
the
the Bible Belt. I saw a map on that. This was this morning, I think, when I was just reading up a little bit on it, as much as I could stomach of it. And I just don't. I think that right is based on the giver of life, the one that has to incubate it and cultivate it and nurture it so it can get here. I think that should always be the right of the mother, a woman, to make that decision ultimately. I just think that. So whenever we start snatching away rights that vital, whether we agree or disagree, I think we run the risk of greater rights being sacrificed in the same manner. Yeah. So even if you don't, this is what I will say, because I'm on Twitter heavily, and even if you don't agree with abortion, you have to look past the subject in this matter and understand the principle of it. Mm-hmm. And I think it's a very dangerous scenario that we're currently allowing to be painted in the country, to where human rights are at risk, high risk. And if you look closer, these only affect, not only, but they vastly affect. Yeah, they vastly affect those who are marginalized and undervoiced.
Absolutely. Always has been.
Yeah, that's just the way.
I mean, come on, man. Like, and if you know the true story behind the implementation of abortion from the very beginning, the woman who came up with the concept or publicized the concept did it so that there wouldn't be as many marginalized babies around. Period. You know what I'm saying? So it was based upon that. You know what I'm saying? Anyway.
But then also sorry to cut you off.
Go. You all good.
Me and FC were talking about this because it was kind of the irony in it too. Because for anybody who actually followed then the post Roe versus Wade, what she did, she ended up coming back against abortion, and she actually initially became the face of, like, here's this woman who went to court. Eventually she carried the baby in full term because of how long the court took. And in the end, she actually turned against abortion. So now she's actually for, like, you should have the child. So it was kind of the irony in that case that I later found out. Like, she was this pioneer who created that, women, yes, should have a choice, and this is where the government needs to stay out of it. But then at the same time, then switched and then said, you know what? You need to have the child. So it was kind of that. So that's just a little thing for you guys who know the history of Roe versus Wade and how, like, that actually then took a turn. Yeah. And how she ended up saying, well, you know what? You should have the child.
Yeah. I mean,
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
I get everything. I get everything you're saying. It is. I just honestly think that once we open these types of, or once we set these types of precedents, then there's no telling where they can lead. And I'm just always a person, like, I don't have to agree with you to understand why you should be able to do that. Just in anything. Like, I don't have to agree with homosexuality to understand why you should be able to do that. Okay, do what you want to do. I don't agree with you, but do what you want to do. That's cool. I'm rolling. You know what I'm saying? That's not my choice. But you should have the right to make yours, just like I have the right to make mine.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
That's all I'm saying.
I get it.
You know what I mean?
I guess that's why I'm not so quick to, like, I don't know. There's so many things that are just undefined. Like, even in the bill that they passed in Alabama, well, you know what I'm saying, that is going up to be signed before the governor, they don't define what life is in the bill. You know what I'm saying? When does life start? You know what I'm saying? They don't determine what's an attempt on abortion. I don't know. There's just so many components, man. Like, and I'm be honest with you, I can't imagine circumstantially. Even if you were going to say, all right, cool, we're going to ban abortions, you can't do it, blah, blah, blah. But circumstantially, like, I think there is probably an exception. Like, you're walking down the street and some random person just puts a gun to your head, rapes you, and then you're pregnant. Like, come on, man. And then what happens? Okay, let's say you're telling these children, and again, I'm not saying I'm pro or against, but let's say you're telling these children, okay, you have to have this baby. Right? Now, you're going to have this baby that you just had an incest child with from your uncle who raped you as an 11-year-old child, right? A grown 30-something, 40-something-year-old man raped an 11-year-old, and then she had a baby at 12, right? But she can't take care of this baby. Not only did she mess up psychologically having this baby, insides all torn up, right, at a young age. 2, you're constantly reminded of the very act at 12. Come on, man. Let's be honest, man. You can't make a healthy, fully aware decision as a child.
Not at all.
There's no way possible. You know how it was when we were 12? Yeah. Should we look back over the decisions that we made at 21? Like, damn.
That was stupid. Off top.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So at 12 years old, at 12, you're still trying to piece together sentences that you're reading in books.
And that's what I'm getting to. That's what I'm like. That. I don't understand exactly what sparked this big agenda over the last 18, 24 months to overturn abortion laws. I don't understand where it came from. That's not really my concern. My concern is, okay, if we're going to decide that this is something that we don't want to be as easily accessible, or if this is something we don't want to see on a regular basis anymore, I can understand that, right? But I can't understand is circumstantial events.
Yeah.
Like in life, certainty is not always there.
Facts.
You know what I mean? There are gray areas in life in general. What's right to me is not right to Blue. Right. But there are some things that are just foundationally right to both of us.
Absolutely.
That's just how it goes. You know what I mean? So once we start implementing legislation into the human experience to that level, I think we do ourselves more harm than good.
Yeah.
Even if it's just off the precedent.
Yeah,
like, okay, what we can do now is tell you how this can happen in your human experience. So if we can do it here, we can do it here, in this area. It's just dangerous to have people govern that way, in my opinion, from what I've seen over 35 years. It's dangerous to do that. And once we start doing that, then we open ourselves up, particularly as marginalized people, to far more things being law that aren't moral.
Dang.
Whew.
Yeah.
Millie with the fro. Millie with the go. FC is in the know.
Millie's about to go in 5 minutes.
No,
we out of here anyway.
We are definitely out of here. So guys, I'm glad that you were able to tune in with us. Tune in like a television show. Tune in like a television show.
Broadcast.
Shout out to the homie boy. You know what I mean? Shout out to him. We back to regular scheduled programming next week.
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are.
All right, rolling. Get some video footage and make some things happen.
Yep.
Episode 67 is in the books.
We out.
Bye.